Here's from METSmerizedOnline.com. Headline: Four Mets land on Keith Law's top 100 prospect list. Now, before we get into this video, I need you to hit that subscribe button so you know what's going on with the Mets prospects. And, all these different lists. We're going to have some bigger videos coming up this week. All the big lists are coming out. Obviously, this is the last full week for pitchers and catchers. Next week is the beginning of spring training. This is the last week of no baseball. And we're going to see a lot of movement, not just with the minor league list, but we're going to see a lot of movement with players. So here we go. So it's going to be it's going to start to pick up. Business is going to start. Keith Law, The Athletic, released his list of the top 100 prospects in baseball. And the Mets have four prospects on the list. Shortstop Jeff Williams landed highest on the list at 30. Law has shortstop Luis Angel Acuna at 45, Ronnie Mauricio at 94, and outfielder Drew Gilbert at 100. Quote, "It's a complete swing. How could it be otherwise? That puts the ball in the air a ton, and he uses the whole field well." Law roared at the 5'6" Williams, who he could envision being moved to second base in the majors. Williams hit .263, .425, .451 at three minor league levels last season. A year ago, Law had him as a sleeper. Acuna is 22. The younger brother of Braves superstar Ronald Acuna Jr., and was part of the deal that sent Max Scherzer to the Rangers. He's new to Law's annual ranking. Quote, "As is, he's probably a high-average, high-double shortstop who steals 40 to 50 bags a year, although I could see him trading some contact for more power and getting to 20 jacks," Law wrote. The switch-hitting Mauricio, another shortstop, will miss most and perhaps all of this season after tearing his ACL in winter ball. Of the 6'3", 230-pounder, a 23-year-old who hit .248 with 2 homers and 101 at-bats with the Mets last year, Law said this, quote, "If he had any sort of plate discipline, he'd be a top 10 prospect. But he chases stuff out of the zone, especially off-speed, way too often, and can't make up for it even with a decent rate of contact on those pitches." Law had Mauricio at 86 last year. Quote, "He always had some volatility because of the lack of polish in his game. And now he's losing up to a year of playing time. But he still hold out hope he'd be an above-average regular at his peak. Maybe just later than we otherwise thought," Law wrote. Drew Gilbert is a 23-year-old, left-handed hitting and throwing outfielder who came to the Mets in the Justin Verlander trade. Quote, "At worst, he's a fourth platoon outfielder who can play all three spots. But after the strong finish, I feel much better about him hitting lefties enough to play every day and hit .280 300, with a walk rate over 10% and 15-ish homers a year. Whether that's an average, above average defender in center or an easy +1 in right," Law wrote. Law has been writing rankings for 17 years working in the Blue Jays front office. Top prospect on that list is shortstop Jackson Holliday of the Orioles. Mention this about Drew Gilbert. As you know, if you've been paying attention, two comps come to mind when it comes to Drew Gilbert. First of all, he's the one player that was mentioned as an everyday player that was closest to the majors, according to David Stearns. He's going to start the year in AAA. He's the closest to the major leagues to all these guys. The two comparisons that is compared of him is Lenny Dykstra and Brett Gardner. That you love him if he's on your team, but he's a headache if he's on the opposition. That is a guy that was very much targeted by the former general manager, Billy Epple. Obviously, Billy Epple knew about Brett Gardner being with the Yankees front office. So he was probably targeting a specific player when he brought in Drew Gilbert in the Justin Verlander trade. So just to give you a little background on Drew Gilbert. So he is a very intriguing prospect, in my view, because I don't know much about him and who he's compared to. So thank you for watching this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Prospect Type, and I'll see you later.